So, what have you taken from today?
I think from today the most interesting point was actually Graham from Verint talking about understanding what different people are like. I'm guessing everyone else probably mentioned that as well. I think in planning we can be quite guilty of communicating in a certain way, and if people don't get the way we deliver it, and they don't get it, we're not really willing to alter our technique to get the message across. So I think understanding how people like information being relayed to them has probably been the biggest eye opener today.
I think the biggest thing was the last session before lunch, and actually understanding the type of person that you are and the type of way you need to communicate with other people to make sure your message is getting across. I know that when we were doing the pre-course work, there were areas for development, and one of the questions was about your communication with the front line in the operation, and to be honest, it's something that me and my team need to get much better at. So I'm really quite interested in some of the things that were raised about improving your communication and getting the message out, and using WFM correctly and communicating how to use that correctly, particularly for things like annual leave that are so emotive with frontline colleagues. So yeah, using the communication skills to make sure that we're getting the message out correctly.
Today I've taken a lot out of the series so far, series workshop 2 and 3 coming together, and starting to look at how we wrap that up into something meaningful to take forward into our day-to-day jobs.
What about the workshops as a whole? What have you taken from those?
Well, for me, it's probably thinking longer term and trying to think outside the box. When we went back to workshop 1, kind of now Bromfield now, known unknowns, things like that. It's starting to plan further in advance and think about events that we know are coming, even if we don't understand the full impact. But if you can start to get close to what it might be, at least you can have a plan in place, even if you don't know what's going to happen. I think sometimes you can get caught up in the here and now and BAU, and you can only think maybe you're 6 or 12 weeks out, and sometimes you can get caught out when big events come up. But that's what I've taken the most of, the volatility, understanding that things might not happen as planned, but it's maybe having different things in place and understanding how flexible you can be. It's not all about being tailored towards one plan of action, it's understanding that there might be multiple iterations of a certain event, and it's understanding that your workforce can be flexible enough to deal with it.
I think there's been really great things the whole way along. The flexibility toolkit, to actually sit down and discuss it and almost in a way validate some of the things that you do within your company, has been really, really great for me. And actually having some sort of a bit more formal training around the things that you do and the ideas that you have within the company, and knowing that you're applying the principles correctly and that you're using the people that you're meeting as well, and understanding their ideas and how they use things within their company. So I guess it's a combination of what has been taught and discussed, if you want, and also the opportunity to communicate with people in the same position and different companies and be able to bounce your ideas off other people, and that networking as well, and having that support a bit further out than just within your own resource team.
I've thoroughly enjoyed meeting people from other organisations, getting the chance to hear other people's stories, share our own stories, and just generally share.
This is the first workshop style event that the PPF have carried out this year. Would you recommend this style of event, and if there was another event with a different subject next year, would you attend?
I'd definitely be interested in attending, obviously dependent on what it was around, and if they felt it was relevant, it'd be worth it. But I like the idea of it, kind of multiple sessions, like continuous learning. Sometimes I know I can be guilty of, if you go to a one-day event, you can kind of be there for the day, enjoy it, but then you can kind of go away and forget everything you kind of learned. So that kind of continuous engagement throughout the workshop's actually been really, really useful. It kind of forces you to think about it because you know you've got another one coming up, and you're more likely to probably try and implement it in the way you work because you've got that kind of continuous engagement.
Yes, I think so, because there is definitely the feeling of constant support through the journey, if you want to be a little bit X Factor about it. It is a journey through the workshops, and having Phil, who's been doing the workshops with me, has been excellent, and you know that he's there, and you know that anything that you've learned or anything that you want to put in place, you can always go to Phil or other members of the PPF and discuss it further. So it has been great, and really the PPF training courses are great anyway, and I've done a couple of those, but sometimes you're questioning your application of the learning once you come out, but to know that you're coming back to sit in this forum again and have these discussions again, and again have the networking with other people that are also in the same position, I think is really valuable, and I've really enjoyed learning that way.
Absolutely, I think it's been a brilliant style of, or a brilliant way to learn about as I said earlier, different people's experiences and stories, and the things that can bring into my own job. I've thoroughly enjoyed the 2 sessions I've attended, and would absolutely love to attend in the future.
Excellent.